The one thing Duolingo is known for is their amazing TikTok feed and
the
characters.
Owl. Even I know about the owl.
The sort of recent story, the Duolingo owl died. They had a funeral for the owl, and then they had footage of the owl dying when it was hit by a Tesla Cybertruck. It was a whole week-long story that took over the internet of the owl dying and then was resurrected again and came back. I don't know if any AI can generate that kind of story.
That's so awesome.
In this episode of Denoised, Duolingo is switching to an AI-first company.
The latest on Runway.
And what Claude's model context protocol means. Let's get into it. All right, welcome back, everyone. Addy, good to see you.
As always, my pleasure.
How was your weekend?
It was fantastic. I still didn't get to see Sinners, and I think what's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up streaming it, which is such a shame.
I did manage to see it in 70mm in IMAX.
I'm so jealous.
Went down to Irvine to go watch it because it was sold out here in LA. Right. There was no screening. I went to a noon screening Sunday and it was packed, full house.
So good.
Awesome to see. Yeah, excellent film. There's a single shot in it that is worth alone just seeing in IMAX.
Okay.
And it pains me because I know the majority of people that did see it. I mean, it's a great shot anyways, but the majority of people that did see it, it was cropped from the full IMAX 4:3 to whatever the
you got a
Panavision
taller aspect ratio.
Yeah, you get the full uncropped immersive image. It was amazing to watch.
Nice.
Yeah,
and
I did see that the Blu-ray they said would have both ratios in the release. Streaming, I don't know, probably not. Okay. Unless
do I have to buy a new TV, like a 4:3 aspect TV?
Yeah, this is the thing where I think like the Apple Vision Pro really shines, because that I can't think of any other way where you could try to match the full immersive experience. Aside from a headset.
Yeah, IMAX and Vision Pro or the Quest would be such a good pairing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
for sure. I mean,
premium filmmaking and delivery through those devices.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the best way if you wanted to watch a 3D film like Avatar or something.
Yeah.
There should be like an official IMAX streaming or app or some protocol, which there probably is. And then IMAX has a streaming protocol. So
you should also release some exclusive content that is stereoscopic maybe from the set that will just kind of incentivize AVP users to consume it on their device.
Yeah, who knows when we start seeing more of that if more people shoot behind the scenes stuff with like the Blackmagic Cine Immersive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I think you have struck on a new thing.
We just developed a new idea, a new behind the scenes format right here.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. First story. This just came out today. Duolingo posted an all-hands email that they sent out to all of employees saying that Duolingo is going to be an AI-first company.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? All right. Being AI first means we will need to rethink much of how we work. Making minor tweaks to systems designed for humans won't get us there. In many cases, we'll need to start from scratch. We're not going to rebuild everything overnight, and some things, like getting AI to understand our code base, will take time. However, we can't wait until the technology is 100% perfect. We'd rather move with urgency and take occasional small hits on quality than move slowly and miss the moment. The big bullet point of how they're going to be switching is we will gradually stop using contractors to do work that AI can handle. So that's been the headline a lot of people run with, is that they are going to reduce hiring freelancers or contractors and replace it with AI.
Yeah, it's happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
AI is taking our jobs. Look, it's not as bad as like full-time employees getting let go. Like contractors are sort of iffy for most companies. You got
contractors because you're looking to fill in a stopgap for something where you are not hiring a full-time role.
Yeah.
How contractors should be used. I know for like a large use of cases, contractors are hired when it probably should be an employee. Yeah. Just to take advantage of these more ease of hiring contractors. Yeah. I mean, they said at the bottom of the letter, Duolingo will remain a company that cares deeply about its employees, and they're going to support everyone with more training, mentorship, tooling for AI, and also kind of, pushing how AI is used across the board, if everyone should, use AI in their day-to-day workfow.
Yeah, I don't understand the nuance of what the quote was said. It will take some time for AI to understand our code database. What does that actually mean? And do you actually trust an artificial intelligence system with essentially your business? Because if the code infrastructure is altered or compromised in any way, that's the end for Duolingo, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's a software
and I'm sure
company.
That's probably the thing of like getting it to understand the code base, but also having enough barriers in place where it doesn't destroy,
delete all.
It doesn't, vibe code your code base and whoopsies it.
Yeah, I feel like this is we're not going to see the end of this. This is perhaps the beginning. I think Zuckerberg has teased some of this at Meta, where just paraphrasing here, he was something like, "Yeah, a lot of our coding can be done with AI in the near future.
Yeah, so AI is an obvious use in the code base, obvious use in just for the user experience and how they teach the languages. And I think they're teaching chess now too. But also, like, I'm curious, what other aspects? Like, are they going to expand this to like marketing, generating assets? Like, what are the roles that they would hire contractors for that they're looking at replacing with AI besides coding? Because coding is like, I feel like a low-hanging fruit of, maybe they had a bigger project, they had to bring contractors on, and now a fewer people can do it and leverage AI tools for that. But what other things are they doing, which is what I'm curious about?
I don't think at an executive level, there is like a line that they won't cross as far as not using AI for that one particular function of the company. I think if it makes sense and if it's ready enough, they'll go for it. And I'm just saying that across the board at all the tech companies. Like right now, we're at a point where we're in a downturn economy. The economy is weak. A lot of the companies are not seeing that that quarter to quarter or year to year growth. Labor is increasingly more expensive. So if there is an efficiency to be had with any technology, AI or not, they're going to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be like the core as a corporation, but it's like, you're kind of obligated to try to find the like
you're obligated to
route.
The shareholders, to the investors, to find the most efficient route to operate that business.
How do you shield up against this? I feel like it's like on you too. You got to like dig into all the AI tools. You got to figure it out where like either, like you harness these tools and you launch your own thing and you become the solopreneur who is able to create a big, whatever the first $1 billion company that's like solo run, or, make yourself a more valuable contractor by being like the AI contractor who can come in and harness these tools.
Yeah, I think
like 10x yourself
for sure. It's a clever cat and mouse survival game for the staff versus the decision makers and the leadership. As a contractor, what I would do, and I'm currently a contractor, I contract for a lot of stuff. What I would do is be at the forefront of the thing that I'm good at and try to use the best tools to increase my gains and my efficiency. So if you're a software programmer, there are programming platforms that, vibe coders love to use. Yeah,
you should be leaning into Cursor and at least understanding or figuring out how to use these other tools to...
Yep. And how do you actually combine that with traditional classical, software engineering architecture? And how can you scale like a team of 10 with just yourself? And if you can present that case sufficiently, I think you're a contractor who's going to see a lot of work. Maybe not a Duolingo, because they're pretty bent on
Duolingo is a singular company and they're taking a position in a lean. But there are tons of so many other companies too, where it's like they're not going to jump into this head first, or they're like, or they might not even be aware of everything out there. You can come in, and if you know how to use these tools and be like, oh, hey, I could do the same project that you were going to hire a small company to do with 10 people, I could do it, solo or with like 2 of us because we know how to harness these tools.
I'll give you my example. A couple of things that I've thought of doing is using a lot of AI-powered marketing tools, a lot of automation tools to get better SEO on my name, my website, automating a lot more LinkedIn cold messages, creating more content and having a regular cadence, like same thing that you do with YouTube, maybe do that with LinkedIn. Like these are things that anybody can do. The tools are available to them.
Yeah.
And the person that does them will have a far better chance of getting that next big gig versus the person that doesn't, right? Unfortunately.
If the quality's there. Because I've gotten so many awful, clearly AI-ridden cold emails. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Joey.
Love your latest podcast on denoised on whatever the random topic was that we talked about.
Oh, okay. Is it able to extract?
Something. Yeah, because I can always tell them, like, where's your data source? Because also sometimes they'll bring in some random stuff. I'm like, oh, you got this from some old website I used to post on.
Oh, shit.
But then I forgot. I got some other ones. There was just like some, like, oh, it was so inspiring, this thing. And it's like, have you thought of some completely unrelated thing that where they're trying to pitch?
I take it back. Actually, my clientele is too smart for this. They'll never fall for this.
Yeah, I was like thinking like
these are studio executives.
Yeah, using AI to handle marketing or help boost your SEO. Yes, using it to start sending out cold messages to people also in tech.
Yeah, that's probably a little cringy, isn't it? But I do see a lot of it done, and on the B2C, like on a consumer facing side, it's absolutely atrocious to be on the receiving end of it.
Yeah.
Like we get a lot of cold calls and things like that. It is an effective sales tool for salespeople, unfortunately.
Is it just a numbers game? Is it just like,
Yes.
yeah, I was just going to send all this crap out and
Yes.
it's like, well, we know a couple of % are going to reply. And
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in London and is a gold trader, like physical gold trader. And their success rate on cold leads is 1%. So they go out to 100 people. One of them will want to buy gold from them or trade gold. And he's like, yeah, my team is trying to figure out how to up that number to like 300 and 400 so we get 3 or 4 leads a day or a month or whatever. But I'm trying to figure out how to increase the conversion so I get 3 or 4 out of the 100.
Right.
Yeah, which is like the human thing to try to figure out. But the automation thing is like, no, just send more.
Right. The old automation thing. But I think that's where AI will come in too, because it's like, well, you could potentially increase that conversion percent by using AI to make outreach that's more personal.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of times the more personal custom outreach will work better. It just takes a lot of time and effort to do that.
For sure.
So no one does that.
Yeah, sales is like one of those necessarily evil things that we live with and have to understand. It is an essential part of business and commerce and economy. It's also not ideal for people that are not built for it.
Yeah. But it is essential. Like if you want to sponsor this podcast, reach out.
We could use some new cameras.
Yeah, I was thinking of the marketing thing too, because also one thing Duolingo is known for is their amazing TikTok feed and marketing and
the
characters.
Owl. Even I know about the owl.
And the sort of recent story, I don't know if you saw this one with the owl, where the Duolingo owl died, was hit by, they created an entire story. They had a funeral for the owl, and then they had footage of the owl dying when it was hit by a Tesla Cybertruck. And it was a whole week-long story that took over the internet of the owl dying and then was resurrected again and came back. I don't know if any AI can generate that kind of story.
That's so awesome. Can we turn that into a movie? I think the studios are waiting for new IP.
I feel like if anything, maybe they will just lean into making the owl absolutely crazy with AI. But yeah, run by their
what a crime
team.
to humanity to take such a clever marketing team and then just unleash AI on it all.
As a tool for them. I want to see what just kind of crazy off the wall stuff they come up with.
Well, hopefully they're allowed to do that and not just some bots.
I would hope so. If they're AI first company, they should be, here are all, you please use VO2, use Runway Gen 4, use all of the AI tools.
And then the Duolingo marketing team can leave Duolingo and become the Duolingo Mafia and do some amazing marketing stuff at other companies.
Yeah, they're going to start the next Liquid Death and that new next gen of crazy marketing stuff.
For sure.
All right. Speaking of Gen 4 and Runway, got some more Runway updates. So they had their Gen 48 competition over the weekend, which is their 48-hour filmmaking competition. And in usual fashion, they teased a new feature that's coming out. It was only for the participants of Gen 48, so it's not out in wide release yet, but then it will be probably in a week or two. But it is references. And so this kind of feature we've seen in other apps. You can kind of give it reference images. Yeah. We've seen this in Kling, Pika, where you can give it a picture of a person, picture of an object, or a picture of a location, and then it can combine them and make a video or an output. The interesting thing with Runway is it is built on their Gen 4 model, and their Gen 4 model is really, really, really good.
Yes.
I've used it for turning image to video.
Yeah.
Really good real world understanding, physics, all that looks great. The references feature is with the frame section, which is their image generation section, which they do have an image generator, which I don't know if not as many people are aware of that. Okay. Like a Midjourney or
I think most AI companies have different multimodal products.
Yeah. Runway's known for video, but they have a separate image model.
Sure.
So it is give it up to 3 images, person, object, place, and then give it some text direction. And then it'll create the image outputs, but much better geography understanding and world understanding.
Okay.
So you can be go move the camera upwards. And it's sort of like people in the space with the image that you give it or the multiple characters that you give it, and it generates the image. But then you can have a chat similar to what we've seen with ChatGPT. Yeah. But just the kind of consistency is really unmatched from what I've seen people post online.
So it looks more like a 3D software.
Like a 3D software, but it's like you give it a picture of you and it's looks good here. New output looks like the same person, looks like the same person. Wow. So one of the best consistencies that I've seen in the stuff that I've seen posted online, because this is not open to the public yet. But one of the obviously we've talked about consistency and consistent geography and scenes, and that being a big challenge with AI generated work.
Yeah.
It looks extremely impressive and promising.
That's so awesome. So you follow Cristobal on X, and every once in a while you'll send me one of his latest tweets.
Yeah, he posts some fun commentary about stuff.
He's a very
visionary.
Yes, very ahead of our times. Now, once in a while, Cristobal will exaggerate, but hey, he delivered here. I mean, the Runway team delivered on something it feels like is very much next leveling up from traditional video generation. What about their other product that is speculative audio-driven interface?
Yeah, this was something Cristobal posted. And so it is I'll describe the video. The video is him narrating in real time, a video generation, and basically holodeck voice commanding. Let's pan down from the sky. Oh, we're in a field. Okay, let's see the field. All right, let's add a city block here. And then just city blocks drop from the sky and starts coming.
Let's modify the graffiti, and the graffiti kind of comes in.
And in real time, he is communicating and giving direction, and the world is updating in real time to his voice. So there's a couple of things going on here this looks like the future and what we'll get to, but there are a couple kind of elements that we need. One is just the real time feedback and generation. So obviously now, whether it's images or video, when you're doing AI generation, you give it the image, you give it something, you hit generate.
Yeah.
And then even the fast ones, you got to wait around.
Yeah.
Fast ones maybe take a few seconds. More intensive ones, it could take 30 to 40 seconds.
Yeah.
You get your output back. And then you're like, no. And then you change it again.
Yeah.
And you wait. So there's a lot of waiting involved.
Yes, for sure. It's funny. I don't think Cristobal ever sat in a dailies room, but this is exactly what directors do to VFX artists. They just sit there. It's bring in the building, move that tree, bring in a bicycle.
But same thing, because you're saying do this, but then they go back with the notes and then they have to do it. And then you wait and they come back.
Yeah, oftentimes, I feel like now with Unreal and some of the real-time tools, it's pretty instant.
Right. Yeah, for real,
you can just drag a asset from the marketplace or whatever library that the company already has. So it's taking a 3D iterative creative workflow and bringing it into AI, which is not real-time yet.
Yeah.
It's pretty revolutionary if it
works. So if we get there with real-time, cool. Also, in this demo, it's a 2-minute long video, and it's things are coming and going and animating and happening in real time, which is also not really the way things work right now. You give it an input and you wait and it makes a video, and that's the thing. You don't edit the existing video, you make a new video.
Yeah.
So if this is what he's demoing, things are happening in real time, but they're also just sort of coming in and out. The world is changing. His generative world is changing in real time.
Yeah.
And also he's talking to it. There's no text. So that's not such a leap. You could do voice to text. So that's pretty straightforward. But he's having a conversation as if he, is directing or telling someone, but the AI is doing it in real time.
I don't think the future, at least for M&E professional users, is going to be talking to a system or prompting.
Unless, I would say in the early stages, in the brainstorming, pre-production, storyboarding kind of phase.
Any artist will tell you their best work is done on a keyboard and mouse. And let's say you command the Runway system to bring in this bicycle. And, like we see in the video, the bike is just kind of floating into the interface. But an artist would actually want to place it exactly where it needs to be, rotate it, scale it.
Yeah.
So that precision level of control is going to be needed. I think this is great for perhaps introducing the public to what is possible with real-time AI systems. But as it hits the professional market, we're going to be back to keyboard, mouse, or some kind of tactical interface.
But I think both will exist because you're going to have we have Avid and Premiere and Resolve, but then we also have CapCut and iMovie and whatever other online
V.io.
V.io.
There's a place for all of them.
How do I get my fine-tuned control? Where do I get my control out of this? And it's it's supposed to be easy to use or quick to use. Both worlds, both pipelines will exist. But
for sure.
Yeah, crazy demo what he was showing here. And I'm also just, as I outlined, curious what multiple elements going on here, what they're going to roll out with first. Speed obviously would be the biggest improvement. The only thing I've seen close with really fast generation is Krea, which has a pretty real-time generator and Midjourney in their new
you can
feature.
Almost input a video and it'll start to do the frame.
In real time. Very low res. And Midjourney added a new turbo feature where you could make it lower res, but like kind of it'll generate in real time, or pretty close to real time.
Right.
Krea also has a 3D space. And one of their new features is a 3D space where you can kind of generate 3D elements and map them in a 3D space and then use that as your foundation to get more precise control over the camera and your composition. Yeah, so Cristobal's video, something he teased, but no more information about that.
Yeah.
The references...
Just off topic here, Cristobal reminds me of like a character from the show Silicon Valley.
For all of these, everyone behind. I'm really bummed that Silicon Valley is over because it would just be so good now with all of
the AI
Sam Altman and all of the AI characters.
Yeah, for sure.
That show is great.
Okay, all right. We agree on something else.
I love that show. I don't want to live in a world where someone else is making the world a better place than we are.
Rest and vest.
All right, and our last story. Model Context Protocol. MCP. So the Model Context Protocol was something that Anthropic posted a paper about at the end of last year. And it's basically sort of like a API for AI.
Yeah.
Is how I took away with it. From their paper or from their blog post, Model Context Protocol is an open standard that enables developers to build secure two-way connections between their data sources and AI-powered tools.
Okay. I mean, it's no different than a traditional API from like an Adobe or Stability or a big player like that, where a user can build a full sort of set of features and then just leverage their backend for the AI.
So the thing that this popped up recently, or why I would dig into it more, was there was a Blender demo. So Claude and Blender, MCP, there's a GitHub with a plugin that is basically use Claude as the interface.
Right.
You're talking to Claude and be like, hey, build me this model in Blender.
Yeah.
And then it controls Blender and builds
so cool
the model for you.
Yeah, I think I've seen that video. It essentially is using Blender's API because through Blender's API, you can build things, right? You can build me a box, this length by this length by this height. Now subdivide the geometry, now put a dent there. How do you build that Blender donut, right? Like it'll probably do that for you.
Yeah. And I've seen someone else demo Claude connection with Resolve.
Yeah.
Similar idea. The demo they showed was like doing timestamp tags and stuff. So not the most useful, but being able to start a chat interface through Claude and control
directly
editing
through the API. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So yeah, this more got me thinking about, because we talked about the future of AI and tools and stuff. What do we think is going to rise more? Is it going to be more stuff like this, where Claude or ChatGPT or whatever, a chat interface integrates with the existing tools, and then you talk to it, or like the Claude computer control, where it's just like going on top and using the computer slowly, but maybe it'll get faster, similar to how we talked about the Atlas robot, and the Atlas robot we're like, oh, it seems kind of silly, but then we're like, actually not a bad idea because it's kind of humanoid. And so it already can just adapt to things that already exist in the real world.
Exactly.
Same with like Claude can adapt to the software that already exists. So is that going to be the way that happens? Or is it going to be the AI is integrated inside the tools like Descript is doing with their video, or their Vibe video editor tool. So it's like integrated, or just like we're just going to layer on Claude or something on top of
this
existing
feels
tools.
like two APIs shaking hands, right? You have the Blender API and the Claude API. They're shaking hands and magic is happening. Like every command that should be software driven or human driven is now coming from the AI, and all of the stuff that's being done in Blender is being done by the Blender API.
Right.
It's like the perfect combination of traditional technology and new technology.
Right. When Blender didn't have to build an AI integration into their software.
Right. Exactly. So maybe Blender's not the best example because Blender is free, but let's take an application like Maya, which is kind of expensive. I think it's like over a few $1,000s a year. Okay, so if you're a studio and you're using Maya, and now you have 100 artists who are using Maya, and everybody needs to be... So let's take a very simple task of you're making a movie and you have 5 primary characters, and those characters need to come in, get imported into your scene. The rig needs to be loaded and all the automated stuff that needs to happen for an artist to start working. At this point, you can hire a TD, a technical director, to write that script out and turn it into an executable that each artist can run on their Maya instance. And then all that stuff can prep them to work, essentially. Or you can turn to the Anthropic API and just tell Anthropic like, hey, can you make me a quick tool, little applet that'll do this task? Okay, so Anthropic has just done what the TD would have taken a couple of days to do. So now you've taken 2 days of human labor, turned it into Anthropic output. Do you pay Anthropic for that? Or because you're paying that incredible Maya license, do you want that bundled with Maya? Right? Like, where is the revenue ultimately going to come from? Is it going to be from the application layer where Maya is? Or do you actually care about the magic sauce of the model where Anthropic is?
Like, if you did this today, does Maya have API? Or
Maya has a really robust API. It's probably much more powerful than Blender.
You would still, I mean, at this point, you still need someone with technical knowledge to connect the two.
One time.
Right. And then you could tell Claude, do whatever you want.
Yeah, and then the artist can probably talk directly to Claude and have it do what Maya needs to do.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, it goes back to my question of, is that studio paying Autodesk for Maya? Or is that studio paying Anthropic? Or is it paying both?
I think it's paying both, but I think you're paying Anthropic whatever pennies.
Yeah, Anthropic is not making the money here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're making a little money and running for the couple tokens you're using to run a command. But this is probably a pretty simple command for Claude to generate.
Yeah. So the money is not really in the API tokens. I mean, as lucrative as it is at a macro scale, right? Like if you're talking millions of artists.
Right. I mean, we're talking about one example on a very specific piece of hardware, but something more widely user-based, like a Descript or like a Veed or CapCut, if they start building in AI in the back end and it needs to do edits or analyze B-roll or help run a cut, and if it's using ChatGPT or Claude as an API on the back end.
I think the move is for Anthropic to go to Autodesk and sell a bulk license of Claude to every Maya license. So the next version of Maya that you download on your desktop will have built-in Claude in it.
Yeah, but it should be built in and it should be included. I think everyone got tired of like when the APIs were kind of pricey and then all these companies added AI features, but then sold it as an add-on. I think everyone got pretty tired of that, where it's just like, I didn't ask for these AI features. I think a lot of companies were pretty early in adding them too. So I think now everything's a lot more useful and practical. But people's first taste of AI integration was like a year or two ago, and it was still like pretty useless, kind of annoying, a lot of pop-ups, and a lot of like, $5 an extra month or so. Like we use ClickUp for all of our project management stuff, and like I love ClickUp, but then they added another AI thing, and then they wanted to like upsell by like $5 or $10 for every seat. And it was like, I think maybe now it might be better, but at the time it was like, it's kind of not that great. I don't really want to pay extra for this. And it's like, I'm already paying for ChatGPT, and it does it better than you do. So I think it's improved, but what I'm saying is I think AI is going to be expected to be part of everything, and that like people are going to be pretty tired of having to pay extra. To be an extra. It should be like, no, this is standard. And I think, and that's also what Google did. I mean, I think partly it was because they couldn't sell the add-on for people to pay up to get Gemini. So then they just kind of raised the prices a couple bucks for all of the Google Workspace seats. But now all the Workspace seats come with Gemini, which I'm like, I'm not that against actually. So I get access to all these tools and it's kind of useful. But I think that's going to be the new way forward, which is like, it's going to be expected to be standard. Like,
I think nothing will get dethroned, if you will. Like, for example, I don't see Maya being utilized less by the film and TV community, regardless of how much AI is adopted. Like, we're still going to need a 3D environment with a robust set of tools where environments are built, characters are animated.
And that level of control that you need.
Sure. Is AI going to generate some of the models? Sure. Is AI going to do some of the animation? Sure. But the existing underlying platform is Maya.
Question would be less about, something like Claude coming into something like Maya, but more like, will it integrate with one of these generative 3D object tools, or, an image generator to generate textures? Where is that coming? And is that in the pipeline?
A good example would be Marvelous Designer, which is a standard tool for creating clothing for characters. So could Marvelous Designer be AI powered? So you don't have to like actually cut the fabric and sew the fabric and all the things that a cloth designer has to do. And can that just plug right into Maya like the way it does now? Marvelous Designer plugs into Maya. So I think there's efficiencies there, but for sure the money is in the things that we use every day in our lives. In your case, Google Workspace is not going anywhere, right?
No.
Like for millions of people with small businesses, like Google Workspace is the heart of that small business. That's where the emails happen. That's where the invoices are generated and so on, right? Can that be augmented by Gemini? And can Gemini get a little piece of that action financially? Yes. So that's probably what's end up going to happen.
Yeah. They raised the price by like $1 or $2 and I was like, whatever. And also didn't really have a choice.
So like
there was no option for that. There wasn't really an opt out of that. But I've been seeing it more and more. And I think we talked about this before where between Google and Apple, they're probably the best toys where it's like they have so much of our personal data. Say we want about that, but they could make it very useful, the most useful AI in our lives by actually, scheduling things for us or putting it on the calendar or like understanding the context of who we talk to. And I've been seeing that more and more with Gemini, and it pops up more and more now. And when I'm in Google Drive and my docs, it's like, you want to ask it. It hasn't really been useful, but
it's too helpful.
I see the potential with of it getting there.
Yeah. Going back to sort of my prediction for a lot of these foundational model companies, like your Anthropic, your OpenAI, your Stability, your Adobe, it's all about being as frictionless as possible in the adoption of AI. What I mean by that, like have the most robust, easiest to use API. Have the best cloud platform so you're not running anything on a local computer. Have the safest, most secure thing for government contracts. Like if you can check those boxes, if you can just make it as easy as possible for somebody to spend money on your AI product, that's the win. It's not ultimately about the best quality or the coolest feature. It's just going to come down to very practical things like that.
Yeah. How much does it like help you speed up to do the things that you've been doing?
And how easy is it to actually do?
Yeah, and built in, seamless. You don't have to like figure out a clever prompt. You don't have to like get it to do it what you want it to do. It just does it. So like once that someone figures out how to get it there and integrated and
set it and forget it.
Eventually, the point where you don't even you don't even realize that Claude or whatever is happening in the background is just doing it.
Yes,
that's the way.
That's when Anthropic is making money as they sleep, right? Because it's just fully integrated into this workflow.
Yeah. Well, links and everything we talk about as usual at denoisedpodcast.com.
And thank you for your support. I hope you were able to leave us a review or a comment on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That's where a lot of our growth is happening, and we appreciate it if you can do that for us.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. See you in the next episode.